All right, Drew, man, I think we're good. Yes,
Look at
we
that.
are.
We're live.
We are live in Facebook. So loving the StreamYard for those of you in my group who really helped me and pushed me to finally get over Zoom and get to StreamYard. Oh my goodness. You were right as always. So we got Drew here this morning. He's going to be really helpful. We're going to be talking through community service and ways that we can actually grow and change and work our brands into that. But I want to make sure what's up, Mike? Great to see you. But I want to make sure we do that in just a second once we kind of get everything rocking and rolling. So, Drew, first off, man, thanks for being here. And where are you calling from and how's the whole quarantine?
I am calling from my home office in Des Moines, Iowa. So the quarantine is fine. The weather's finally broke. It's not 45 degrees and raining. So all good. So
Are you able to get out? Like, can you all go places and walk around and walk dogs and stuff?
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Iowa is one of the, I don't know, 7 or 8 states that didn't do a full shelter in place. So basically everything is closed. So in essence, you can't go anywhere. So you might as well stay home,
Sure.
Other than the grocery stores and stuff. But we can be out and about. So yeah, there's everybody's out walking a baby or a dog or a cat or a lizard, something. Yes.
Nice. That's really great.
Yeah.
That's really great. Well, hey man, what's up, Chris Collier? Great to see you. Glad you're here, dude. So Drew, let's dive in. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about what you do professionally? How does your world work so people kind of know what they're leaning in on your experience level? And then we're going to get into really talking about community and how to use that community service aspect as we pivot to a regular market again.
Yeah. So I have owned my own agency for 25 years and still do. And that takes up about 25% of my time. Mm-hmm. And then for the last 15 years or so, I have owned and run Agency Management Institute. So we are an educational peer group driven. So think of it as a Vistage group, only everybody owns an agency. I have some people who've been in the peer groups for almost 20 years. Wow. And we do a lot of educational workshops. And so, we serve about 250 agencies a year, all kinds, not just digital. So we have a lot, obviously in today's world, we have a lot of digital agencies, but sure. Media buying and planning shops, PR shops, you name it.
Love it. Perfect. You have so much to share. I'm sure you could just talk for days in our group because you got like all the knowledge that everybody in this group is like so hungry to gain from. So
I'm sure they would not be excited about that prospect. Yeah, but yes, I could. Yes.
Yeah. We're doing a 24-hour marathon. That's Facebook Live.
Yeah. People are crying right now.
Endless Q&A. Right. Dennis, good morning. Great to see you guys. Lori, so great to see you. Thanks for being here, Lori. It's always fun to see you guys in here. All right, so Q&A, remember, as always, dump them in as you come. But today we're going to talk about community service. There's so much we can do in our communities that actually helps in our marketing. And we need to talk about actually how this goes. Yeah, Chris, I know it sounds awesome, right? Dennis, awesome to see you. We want to talk about how this goes because there's a little bit of an icky part here. Sometimes people feel kind of like, oh, you're using community service and you're trying to like serve people and market that. Is that ethical? Is it okay? So Drew, can you just kind of explain how this works and how not to make it weird?
Yeah. So I think there's sort of a pre-COVID and post-COVID conversation in this. So for years, I've been advocating that agency owners think differently about the way they serve their community, because most agency owners, super generous people, they get asked to serve on boards, do logos for 5Ks, do all kinds of things. And we always say, yes. And probably 15 years ago or so at my agency, I was like, I'm tired of helping all these people a little bit. And I'm tired of not really getting a lot of recognition for it. So what I did was I invented what we called the Adopt a Charity program. So once a year, we adopt one charity. They have to apply for the application. And Chris, I can send you the information about this, but literally we got media coverage. We got all kinds of information. And then we served a one charity a year in a big way, like probably $100,000 worth of services. We tapped all of our vendors and our partners, so photographers and other people. So it became this sort of ecosystem of service. And we ended up changing these charities in a significant way. For example, creating the biggest fundraiser they've ever had, that kind of big way. And in doing so, we also benefited from that by getting more recognition. And there's nothing wrong with getting credit for doing good work for good people. And
Yeah.
so I think just like we would advocate for our clients, we would say to our clients, look, here's the deal. You can give away $10 there or $10 here or $10 there. But what if we look at your charitable giving as a marketing tool? And how do we also get something back for you that is of value? So that's what the advice we would give our clients. So I often wonder why agency people don't look in the mirror and give themselves the same advice they give clients, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if we're that's a really good idea to take on like one charity a year and really rock their world and help, because they can't, honestly, a lot of charities can't afford the quality of work that a lot of us do as agency owners. And we do it for our corporate clients, but yeah, it's just so expensive.
Right. Well, and we put stipulations in, like, if you are the chosen charity, we get to present to your board 4 times a year, and other things that allow us to have exposure to people who actually do have the money to pay us, right?
Yeah.
But we're really making a big difference on this one charity. So we're not staying at the surface, but we're diving deep with them. And one of the things we did was we graded all of the applications. And so in Des Moines, Iowa, which is a relatively small market, we get about 50 applications a year.
Huh.
And then my team and I grade them, and we have a rubrics that we grade them on. But one of them is, I have a heart for this charity, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just we like the board of directors, and one of our criteria, for example, is, will they be able to sustain what we do for them after we go on to the next charity? Because we want this to be sustainable. So that, to me, is the post-COVID conversation. I think every agency should be thinking about how to do this. And the other benefit of this, and this was one of the other reasons why I created it, was we get, as the person who just made the comment, we get asked for stuff all of the time. And you feel like a jerk by saying no. But now our response is, you know what? We adopt one charity a year, go to this page on our website, download the application, and you could be a recipient of that. But because we do that, and because we donate over $100,000 to that charity, we only do it for one charity a year.
That's perfect. And that answers Lori's question right here. It's a great conversation.
Right.
After donations all the time, kind of tapped out. So when people come to you, other charities, then Drew, and say, hey, our local Girl Scout troop is doing a fundraiser, can you drop $1,000 on them, or 5K or whatever? Do you simply say no, but apply through this process, and if you win, you're golden?
Yeah. Now, with the caveat, we all get invited to be on boards. We know why we're being invited on the boards, because they want free stuff. So you're still on the side or doing things. But for people you don't really know from Adam, who just picked your name out of an agency directory somewhere, you can say to them, we have a huge heart for nonprofits. In fact, we have such a huge heart for it. We have this whole program, and you're welcome to apply for it. But because we donate so much of our time and our talent to that, we can't honor any other requests. And I'll tell you, it works just fine. And they're not mad about it, because they understand that you are giving back to the community. It's just they have to go through the right channel. Brilliant. Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, by the way, Alex and Wes and Franklin, welcome. So glad you guys are here. And Robert, good to see you, man. So let's talk about how to pivot and like actually grow. So it's COVID things wrapping up. A lot of people are doing community service.
Right.
How do you use the community service you're doing and tell that story in a way that's, again, not creepy or icky, but using the good you're doing in the community as a platform to reach new clients? Let's be honest, that's a thing. So how are we doing? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of the agencies in my ecosystem are doing some amazing community service projects. They're helping clients do food drives. They're doing all kinds of great things. And I think there are a couple ways that we as agencies can pivot that to be an opportunity for us as well. So I think first and foremost, you have to come at whatever you're doing with a genuine, generous heart. I mean, I think that if you do it just for the publicity or the airtime, people can smell that a mile away. But I don't think people begrudge us for getting a pat on the back for doing something that actually benefits the community, right?
Right.
So I think there are a couple of things. Number one, I would invite your own ecosystem to participate. So I think asking the charity to spread the word of what you're working on and that you're helping them now begins to build your own audience. I think it's a huge thing to say to the charity, we would love to do this for you. And we would like an opportunity to present what we've done and the results of what we've done to your board of directors. So the charity probably is never going to have enough money to pay you what you want for the work, but their board of directors are filled with business people and business owners and who have a heart for that charity. And so if you demonstrate you also have a heart for that charity, then there is opportunity then to connect with them. And maybe they're not the client of your dreams, but they're also a potential referral source. So I think this is a long play. I think this is you're not going to get a client tomorrow because you started a food drive today. But I do think you can position yourself in the community as being a part of the community and start to connect and get referrals.
Awesome. Okay. So here's a great question from Lori. What do you do when they don't spread the word? Is there a way to kind of motivate them and let them help you a little easier?
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, they probably don't spread the word because they don't know how. So giving them templates, giving them tools, saying, hey, you know what, if we get more word out about the pet food drive that the animal shelter is doing, then we get more pet food. So let's combine and let's do a Facebook Live. Let's do something together. Let's submit an article to the newspaper together. So I think you can do a lot of things. Remember, what we do for a living, marketing, is not their gift. So I don't think it's that they don't want to. I think it's that they don't know how. And so the more WYSIWYG and easy you make it for them, the more likely they are to do it. I would give them even a schedule of, hey, here's how often we should promote this. And this is what you should be doing on Instagram. And this is what you should be doing here or there. And hey, here's an article that we wrote for your newsletter. Just pop it into your newsletter, right? So you're going to have to do some heavy lifting and you're going to have to realize that you're teaching them how to do what we do every day, and it comes naturally to us, but it doesn't come naturally to everybody.
That's a really good point. That's a really good answer too. Okay, cool. So when you're doing these things for a charity, you picked your one charity, you're going to drop $100,000 of value on them in a year. I mean, you're just really going to change the trajectory in a real way of their long-term growth. Are you collecting stories internally? Are you like videoing that? Are you getting testimonials? Are you getting behind the scenes? I mean, and then what do you do with that? Do you actually have that in a reel somewhere?
You invite the community to participate. So, in our case, we partnered with the local business record, and I write a column for that for a business journal. And so we're telling the story as we're going. So part of the permission that the nonprofit gives you is that you can promote what you're doing, that you can use them as a case study in essence to show people what to do. And again, when you do that, what you're saying is, look, this is an amazing charity and we're doing some important work for them, but all you other charities can learn from what we're doing, and you can DIY this on your own so that everybody gets more exposure. So again, you're in front of the board, you're promoting it on your own social channels, you're creating assets for them to promote on their social channels. You're you are promoting the activities with your local media. So there's all kinds of ways you can get great ink on this.
This is really good. Okay. Again, folks, as always, ask questions as you want to. By the way, welcome, Sheridan. Great to see you as always. So how do you pick the charity? I've struggled with this in the past. Do you pick a charity based on what you're passionate about personally, or do you pick a charity based on what gives you the best networking and connection opportunities, or both? Again, I'm asking really, and people are on the line here too, asking really painful, scary questions because nobody wants to look like a total jerk. But
no. So for us, when you and I get done, I will, by the end of the day today, I'll send you the sample media release we use. I'll send you the criteria. I'll send you the application so you can share it with your audience.
Perfect. We'll drop it right in.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But our rubrics for deciding the charity are things like, how impressive is their board of directors? So that's definitely in our advantage, right? How long have they been in existence? Will they be in business 5 years from now? That's about the community. We don't want to pour ourselves into something it's too small or is a startup that may not survive. Can they sustain this? We ask for their financials. Are they in decent financial condition?
Wow.
So that we know that they are going to be around for the next 5 years. But certainly part of it is, this is a charity that I have a heart for. So in my world, almost all the charities that we have adopted over the years have either helped kids or animals. So apparently that for my team is what sort of touches our heart more than other worthy charities like the environment and other things. That's just not our thing. So there's absolutely a mix of both in it. So I don't think this is about just serving a charity that you have a heart for, because you can do that on your own time.
Sure.
This is a, make no mistake about it, this is a biz dev's tactic that also allows us to be good community neighbors. So it's sort of the best of both worlds.
I really, really like that. You're really getting in then. I mean, you're really having them apply. Like when you say they're applying, like if you're getting financials, listed board direct, I mean, you're going all in. You know these people.
Yeah. So and then during the application process, we reach out to like the United Way and other aggregates of charities and say Variety, the children's charity and stuff like that, and say, hey, make sure all your recipients know that the application process is open. So we're also using them. There's usually a story in the local paper or something like that our application process is open. So we're getting media coverage even before we pick the charity, right? But we're also asking community partners to help us get more people to apply. But yeah, it's not a simple application. They have to have a letter from their board chair saying why they think they are open for new opportunities and change, and that they agree to hear us out and to consider what we suggest, even if it is uncomfortable. I mean, we really make them sort of go through their paces so that when we pick the applicant, they really are ready for some radical new ideas, some big changes, in some cases, some big risks around events and other things.
Yeah.
I
really like that. I really do. Because you're giving a lot of value, you're investing a lot of time. They need to be open.
Right.
Sometimes we give free things away. By the way, welcome Ken Moskowitz. He's a previous speaker in our group here, and Ken's great at Ad Zombies. Glad you're watching, Ken. When we give things away, often, we find that people don't value the product or service.
Right.
And that's a big deal. But I assume as a charity, maybe they're more open to really valuing donations and gifts because that's their model, right? They're used to placing value on that if you get it right.
Yeah, but I also think they're not used to getting something so all-encompassing. So the other side of this, though, is if you're gonna adopt this idea rather than just doing something charitable in the community, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just that you don't get as much benefit from it. You also have to be willing to understand that this is a client and you need to treat them like a paying client. So it's client meetings, it's status reports, it's a marketing plan, it's deliverable dates. You can't call them back and go, hey, sorry, we didn't get that thing done because our other clients are more important than you. So this really is a commitment on your part as well. And you have to treat it that way, because otherwise it's, now you've asked them to go through this laborious application process and all of that. And then you treat them sort of like the redheaded stepchild. So you can't do that either. Everybody's got to be all in.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, we fully support and love redheaded people who happen to be stepchildren.
Yes, we absolutely do. And they should be treated like all the other children. Yeah.
So true. All right, great. Perfect. This is really, really good information. So who are you serving right now? What's your charity of choice this year?
Our charity of choice this year is a nonprofit that goes into at-risk neighborhoods and makes a deal with the kids that if they get all the way through high school, because right now for a lot of these neighborhoods, the graduation rate is less than 50%. If they get all the way through high school, this organization will pay for their post-high school education.
Oh, wow.
So vocational school, college, whatever they can't get in scholarships or grants, this organization will make up the difference. And what's amazing about this organization is they increase the graduation rates up to in the 90 percentiles.
Wow.
Because they go into the home, they help the parents who often also did not graduate from high school understand the value of high school. So they end up sort of educating the entire family about the importance of homework and reading and books and all of that sort of stuff. And they do amazing, amazing work. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Well, folks, we'll be wrapping up here in a couple of minutes. We try to stay on time and get everybody off of Facebook as soon as possible because
Get back to
we're not
work.
getting a lot of work done here sometimes. So ask your questions now if you want to ask them. We'll wait a couple minutes and get them in here. So then, Drew, with your team, do you put a governor on staff hours as you're giving to these organizations? I mean, do you just treat it like a normal client and kind of give proportionately, just like they were a regular client?
Yeah, so we build out a marketing plan, and inside that marketing plan are a bunch of tactics, and we assign, just like we would for a paying client, we assign a budget to what we think it should take to get that done. So that gets assigned a set number of hours, and it goes into the project management software, and we manage to that just like we would a paying client.
Okay.
Yep.
And then Dennis is saying, how do you specifically help the charity? What do they walk away with?
It depends. I mean, in the past, we've done videos for charities. We've done websites for charities. We've created fundraising events for charities. Sometimes we've renamed them. Sometimes we've given them a whole new identity package. It all depends. So we walk in just like you do with a client, and we assess their needs. And then we come back with a proposal of here's what we think you need, and here's what we're willing to do to satisfy those needs. And once they sign off, then we're off to the races.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. And so each person in our group, obviously there's lots of different skill sets in this Facebook group. And so whatever our own passions are, skill sets, our team's ability, whatever we do for our paying clients, we could do for a charity is the ultimate piece of that. Right. It's all transferable.
Yeah. It's exactly the same things you do for a client. So it really follows the same process. Once you pick the charity, it's the same as that client calling you and saying, I want to hire you. First, you're going to do some sort of discovery or assessment. Then you're going to do a proposal that says, here are the problems that we think you have. Here are the ways we can help you fix those problems.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that? And
just like anybody else.
Yeah, in this case, there's no dollars assigned to it, but it's still going to require them to put staff hours against it. It's going to require them to, oftentimes to get a board approval. So again, we're in front of the board, helping them understand how we made that assessment and what we're going to do to fix it. And then you're off to the races, just like you would be with a client with a checkbook.
Perfect. All right. One more question then. Financial question. Do you get a tax benefit, a tax write-off? What's up, Matthew? Great to see you as well, sir. Do you get a tax write-off or benefit for this? If you give $100,000 of service, that's huge.
Yeah. Here in the United States, you cannot deduct time for charitable contributions. So if you incur hard costs on their behalf, which by the way, I don't encourage, but if you were to do that, you could pass that through as a
meaning if you were handling and paying for the ad spend or for
or
print, whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Which by the way, in our agreement is, look, if there are any out-of-pocket expenses, you have to agree to pay those. We're not going to go in the hole financially on your behalf. We're just going to give away our services. So no, there's not, as of the tax code today, and even before the 2018 changes, you can't deduct time for charitable contributions.
Okay, great. Good answer.
So again, this is why you've got to be smart about it being a biz dev effort too.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to really get value.
Because that's the payback is you're not going to get paid by the charity. You're not going to get a tax deduction. So you sure better be smart about using this as a marketing tool to earn clients, which has always worked for us. It's always paid for itself.
This is really, really good. So again, any other last questions? We're about to wrap up. Appreciate everybody watching. And Dennis, the piece that's really cool, this conversation, is one of those hard conversations to have that we all think about and we wonder about, but we feel, you don't want to be a jerk by asking and somebody's like, what, you jerk, you just do good, don't worry about the give back. But it's true. We're entrepreneurs also. And we see all these huge corporations doing things that we know because we're all skeptical marketers, right? So we know, Coca-Cola or so-and-so is, they're helping clean up the oceans, but they're also running commercials about helping clean up the oceans. So we know there's a dual purpose there. And that's okay. Right. Because they're doing a good thing. Like, oh my gosh, people and the planet and pets, whatever, are still getting served. That is the ultimate win. Right there.
And there's nothing wrong with also having people recognize your name and the work that you do and the quality of the work that you do on behalf of a worthy charity. There's nothing wrong with getting credit for doing a good thing.
Good point. Like that's amazing website or amazing ad campaign or amazing whatever you did for that charity. Can I hire you guys? Yeah, that's a great point. Great point. All right. So Drew, how can people get a hold of you, find you? How do we drop a link in here that if they want to know more about you, what you do?
Yeah. If you just go to agencymanagementinstitute.com, that's probably your best bet. And if you're looking for COVID resources, go to agencymanagementinstitute.com/COVID. We're updating that every week with agency specific resources to manage through COVID. So we didn't talk about that particularly today, but that's a fresh resource that's there.
That's really cool. Okay. I'll definitely post that link here. I'm pulling it up right now to make sure I have the right one. agencymanagementinstitute.com. AMI, big letters right there. Is that the right one?
Yeah, that's the right one.
Okay. Yeah. This is great, man. I truly appreciate your willingness to jump in here and help us out. Thank you.
Happy to do it.
Thanks for talking about a relatively sensitive topic too. That's got a lot of creative potential behind it.
My pleasure.
So we encourage everybody, if you're obviously go check out Drew's site, because anybody like Drew who's been doing this long enough knows how to message, knows how to do his agency. There's lots of great resources. Drew is a great resource to lean in on, but also take the information as always. Do work, get results. We talk about that all the time. Do work, get results. If you're wanting to get involved with a local nonprofit, if you want to do something in a charitable scenario, be smart about how you do that. There are ways to do it that benefits you and the community and the nonprofit and who they serve. The full circle, the full ecosystem can jump in here. And that is such a great thing to do and take advantage of. So really, really appreciate everybody hanging out. Dennis, you bet. So glad to have you in here. Lori, awesome. So glad you're here as well. Iman, great to see you as well. Emma, great to see you as well. She says, thanks, Drew. This is such a good idea.
A pleasure.
Yeah, sure. All right, folks, y'all have a fantastic Monday. Drew, again, thanks for your help. We'll drop your links right down here. Everybody check out Drew's stuff, and we'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Y'all have a fantastic day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.